Thanks for staying up later, or in this case, you were probably up just on general principles. So I ask you sincerely, how do you like 1993 so far? How about you, Richard, Jeni?
So far, it's going great. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling really good about being here tonight.
It's really a festive atmosphere, don't you think?
Yeah. It's I can barely control myself at the moment.
We have spared no expense and no trouble in an effort to create an atmosphere that will fool only those who have imbibed most freely into believing that we are actually here right now on New Year's night.
Yeah, right now. Right now there are people going, this must be live. They have tuxedos on and everything. Come on in here. It's Bob Costas and the guy who looks, is that the Fabulous Baker Boys? There's two guys sort of in like cheap tuxes pretending to be entertaining people. Yeah, but here we are, and Happy New Year.
And you're a guy from New York, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn.
Yes.
Hang around in L.A. most of the time now, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between New Year's on the East Coast and the West Coast?
Well, here you have the ball dropping thing in Times Square, which is, you know, and nobody in New York ever goes to that. It's always like people from North Dakota going, why don't we go? It'll be great. We're here. We're right in the middle of it. I can't. Are those people urinating? This was a long trip for that, you know. So, but they don't have that in L.A. I know people just stay in their houses. They're watching us in Los Angeles.
See, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go anymore because Ben Grauer isn't there. Not that I ever went at all. But as a kid, I remember Ben Grauer, who I guess was like a big newsman or something in the 30s or 40s.
NBC's Mobile Ben Grauer and other top announcers are giving the nation a word picture of Manhattan at its fittest from morning until well into the night.
Once I was around, by the 60s or 70s, he appeared only once a year. And that was to stand up there in Times Square and give a report on the ball descending. But Ben has descended, so...
Well, I don't know who Ben is, but that's got to be...
Hell of a story, though, wasn't it?
But that's got to be... That's got to be one of your easier reports to do, I would think.
I'm making a New Year's resolution.
What's that?
Every story I tell subsequent to this in 1993 will be more interesting than that one.
No, I thought it was very good. I liked it. It had a personality. It had Ben Grauer. It had a holiday. It was really It's a Wonderful Life with boredom, I thought. No, it was a good story, but it's got to be a weird thing to report on a ball drop. What could you really, you know? There's a ball. It's heading down. The latest we have from Times Square is that ball is still descending.
Yeah.
Let's throw it to our gravity expert and see what he has to say. Yeah, what could you really say? The ball, it comes down, and the next thing you know, I know, I'm not a big holiday guy. You know, I think especially New Year's is, you know, being here with you makes it exciting, but ordinarily it's not a
I can see that your
biggie.
pulse has quickened.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this, Bob.
What would be your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday would probably be, I would say Thanksgiving is a biggie, because it may sound corny, but, you know, you look at that turkey and you think, hey, life is tough and you have problems, but nobody ever cuts a hole in your butt and fills you with mushrooms. You know what I mean? And to me, that puts everything in perspective. People go, how are you? And you go, relatively okay. You know, I don't know, there's certain... Halloween is a toughie, because Halloween is... Because I'm not married, so you're not really prepared for Halloween. Kids come and they're trick-or-treat, and you're like in a bathrobe going, I got like a pickle and a few buffer in here. Can you... Want a sandwich? Got a headache? Otherwise, go next door. They're married. Try them. So, those two, and then what else is there? It's 4th of July, which is... Maybe there's just too many of them. I think they should start maybe combining them, like 4th of July combined with Thanksgiving, and you could just sort of explode a turkey and get both of those out of the way at the same time.
Just put a cherry bomb in the turkey.
A cherry bomb, another good reference. This is why you're a big star. Because you can be a regular guy and also a huge authority on everything.
What an annoying combination of traits. Now, was your family, you're not a family man now, but obviously you had a family growing up, were they a typical Norman Rockwell type family there in Bensonhurst?
They were more like a Norman Rockwellina type of a family. I come from an Italian-American family. We were just talking about this in the hallway. This sums up my neighborhood in Brooklyn and my family. I went to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., not to drop a name. I was just tagging around. So we go there, and there's an exhibit there. And the exhibit is, behind glass, there's an actual bedroom. And it says on the plaque, Italian-American bedroom, circa 1917. And I'm looking at this bedroom, and I'm looking for my aunt. This is like her bedroom. I said, how did they get this thing here? This is her bedroom today. This is her rug. This is her, you know, furniture. This is exactly the bedroom that 10 of my relatives would have. And this is supposed to be sort of a historic, you know, quaint thing from when the immigrants first came over. And that's sort of what, you know, the neighborhood is like. I mean, it's bizarre. I was at my aunt's house the other day. You know, she's got a refrigerator, 20 years. It looks like the day she bought the refrigerator. They always get, you know, the service contract.
Right.
So, you know, I said, what do you pay the service contract? It's like 20 years now. You've spent like $26,000 on this refrigerator. God forbid it should break. You know, this way I got it. So that's.
Did she put baking soda in that refrigerator?
No. Does your family do that? Do they put...
Yeah, it
Yeah?
kind of sucks up the odors, doesn't it?
I always wondered if you went to the baking soda factory and broke wind, if anybody could tell. I always thought that'd be, because, you know, because that'd be a good place to work if you had, like, gastrointestinal problems. Because there'd be so many people there, it would be years before you were found out. Maybe once in the parking lot. No, but they should use the baking soda, but they got the slip covers and stuff, and I don't know. I'm kind of trashing my home. I like New York. I mean, there's, you know, in some cities you can be a big fish in a small pond. In other cities you can be a small fish in a big pond. But here in New York you can be stabbed in the chest with a fillet knife, which I think is probably the main thing about it that I've come to love over the years.
What's the closest brush with danger you've had in the streets of New York as man or boy?
Oh, I had a Sabrett hot dog today, which is never a good idea.
No, especially when the guy with the dirty fingers is looking to split for the New Year's party. You know he's giving you the dregs.
He's in a big hurry. I don't know. The closest brush with death I've ever had in New York. I don't know. You know, when I lived here, like you said, live in L.A. now. When I lived here, it seemed normal to me. You know, I'd be on the subway here or there, and it's just, people go, "Isn't it dangerous?" And I go, "No, it doesn't seem dangerous." You know, and now I come back, and I'm sort of like a house cat now. You know, I'm like in a limo on my way here through like Times Square, looking out the window, going, "This seems very dangerous to me. Can we roll that up?" You know, and it wasn't that long ago that I was, you know, living here. I can't remember ever being getting into a really dangerous situation. I'm sorry I don't have a better story on that, but now we're even for the Grauer thing.
Right. that puts it back to ground zero. What about your family? Let's go back to that family.
Okay.
So you live in L.A., but you're a native New Yorker. You're back here. You're staying with your folks, I take it?
Staying with my mother.
What's that like?
Always a treat at this time of year because my mother is one of those people who keeps the heat in the house at a temperature usually reserved for hatching baby chicks. So it's like, it's always a good situation to wake up in the morning. We're not having breakfast, but we're at the window suffocating. I don't know. I just have to say with my mom, my parents are not together. They're divorced. Surprise! Yeah. So so it's always this business on the holidays of you have to see the one and then sort of shuttle over to the other one because they're not married anymore. They had inevitable, I think. In a mixed marriage, my mother was Amish and my dad was an Elvis impersonator. So not a good basis for getting along. I'd be 11 and go, "Hey, Dad, what kind of work will I do when I get to be a grown-up?" My father would be like, "Work, Richard, you don't know what work is." When I was a kid, I was working when I was 6 weeks old in a coal mine. Dad, you were a coal miner? I was a shovel. I couldn't get a job as a miner. To shovel coal with my face, and I made 4 cents a month, but I did what I could to help out. So yeah, look, Dad, can I go out at some, you know, it's a little hot in here, and hot! You don't know what hot is, buddy. When I was a kid, it was 4,000 degrees in this house. People would melt right in the house. Be playing a game with your sister, boom, a pile of goo with some panties on a Parcheesi board. That's the way it was. I go, "Dad, please, you're raving here. I'm getting a little hungry. Could I?" Hungry? You've never been hungry in your life. When I was a kid, there was no food at all. We had to suck lint right off the carpet. We were lint suckers. Lint-sucking, melting coal miners. And I'd get mad and go, "Well, things were so bad. Why didn't you just leave town?" Because we had no arms and legs, that's why. We couldn't afford them. We were stumps in those days. Lint-sucking, melting, coal mining stumps. My mom came to me and goes, "You're the man of the house now." I was like 11 years old. "Your dad's leaving, you're the man." And I was like, "Mom, come on, I'm 11. I got no car, I got no money. You know, I can't be running the house. Take a pill, lay down." But then I thought, what the heck? You know, I've been watching my dad. How hard can it be? You know, started acting like him. I'm 11. Started wearing long boxer shorts with sailboats, some sandals with black socks, shutting off all the lights. "Hey, what do I look like? The electric company?" Busting my butt in that school all day. "Come home, I don't want to hear you."
What'd your dad do?
My dad was he's retired now, but he was a longshoreman for like 35 years or something, I don't know. Now he's Now he's home. He watches Regis. He goes to the track. He hangs around. I don't know. I invited him to the White House thing, and he didn't miss a beat. He went, nah, what is that, a Tuesday? Nah, I can't go to see the president. I'm busy. I have to go to the candy store. Don't even think about it. Nah, can't make it. Go figure. That's a real New York expression.
Right, go figure.
Go figure. You hardly ever hear that in Alabama. Go figure.
Do you like life on the road?
Do I like it? Yeah, you know, I like the performing. The performing is always the best, you know, part of this job. The rest of it can get a little monotonous. It depends where you are. You know, there's a lot of different, I work in the South a lot. There's different, which is a different kind. There's the South and there's the Deep South. And I would say the difference is, in the South, you know, you say to the audience, anybody know what a bagel is? And somebody go, it's a hard donut with no taste. And in the Deep South, you say, what's a bagel? And somebody would actually, it's a dog, isn't it? You got a bagel, don't you, Bob? Hunting dog, floppy ears. So, yeah, I like, you know, I kind of like it. I get my luggage lost a lot. It just happened last week. I want to say the name of the airline. It wouldn't be proper. Let's just say it rhymes with Continental. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they lost my luggage, too. It was like, have it happened to you?
Yeah.
The remarkable thing is that
I've never permanently lost my luggage. They show up like a day later and they bring it to your house and they're very apologetic.
Yeah, which is, and rightfully so. I mean, they've sent your luggage to Israel. It's only proper that they should send it back. The amazing thing to me is that it's just a total lack of sensitivity. Like, I go to the little, you know, the luggage dungeon there, and I'm on the line, and there's a guy there, and I've, like, lost my belongings, you know? And there's a guy basically going, oh, yeah, your stuff's not here. Next.
Right.
And, well, you will vote. Can't you? Sir, there are other people who we've screwed. Will you get out of the way? Your stuff is gone. You know, when will it be back? We don't know. Call us. Like, you're irritating, you know. Like, you're irritating. You would think that they would have some sort of backup system where they would have, like, a tailor there at the baggage claim, where they would go, you know, we're really sorry about this. This is Andre. You know. Set him up. You know. And that night you could look good. You like it? Really? Carousel B. So I like traveling in the sense that you know, you get to meet a lot of folks and stuff. But there's a lot of people ask me to go places. Do you see stuff? You know, when I first started going on the road, I would go everywhere. You know, they'd go, you gotta go to this place for breakfast. You know, there's always like a breakfast place.
Right.
They have the best breakfast, and you get there and you go, am I mistaken, or is this an egg? at this amazing breakfast place. So the cities get to be like, I don't get out a lot anymore. You know, people go, how was Dallas? And I go, nice lobby. Dallas has a nice lobby. The places get to be like, sort of like exhibits. You know, you're not there long enough to really get steeped in the lifestyle. So it's almost like a giant sort of World's Fair, where you just stop at the St. Louis exhibit, and then you go to the next thing.
Yeah, airport, hotel, and in my case, ballpark. In your case, wherever you do your bit.
Nightclub. Plus, I've had a couple of hotel maids spot me naked lately, which is not a good thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, the old...
You don't want to have that happen.
I noticed the Do Not Disturb sign on your door, which I thought meant barge right in when I'm nude. It's so humiliating.
So what do you say when a chambermaid has stumbled upon you in the buff?
In real life, you say, ah! In the videos that are in that section of the store, they say, well, as long as you're naked, what the heck? You know?
And then it's a French maid who happens to be wearing fishnet stockings.
Just coincidentally, yeah. I was doing this thing in my act about the whole long thing about the X-rated movies. It's like $1 billion business now. They called me up and they said, do you want to do, this really happened. They go, do you want to do perform your comedy act at the annual X-rated movie awards in Las Vegas? And I said, I thought it over and I said, for free. Yes, I'm in. Let's go. I'll go there. I'll go to Vegas.
What's the award that you get? It.
Well, I can.
I know. It's an Oscar Mayer Wiener. Thank you. Have a wonderful 1993. Good night.
Oscar Mayer Wiener. We'd like to present the Oscar Mayer Wiener.
Go ahead and use it. You have a call for this. I can't repeat it. I'm back here tomorrow.
Can I pour you some champagne?
Please.
Is there real champagne in here? Is this a prop?
Oh, look at this. It's a...
I don't
How
believe
weak
it.
is this?
Oh,
How
man.
weak is this?
Actually, it's very dry champagne.
Man, what a come down.
That is, yeah.
See, what, do they put years on champagne? It's part of the Brut tradition. It's an aftershave.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Ruinart champagne. I can't believe they did that.
What a letdown.
You didn't give us a real bottle of champagne. That's a drag. This is... So it's actually a real bottle. How do they do that? How do they get
Look
this
closely,
out of there?
there's a ship inside. I don't know how they did that either.
Well, let's party, Bob.
And we're back with Richard Jeni, who welcomes 1993 with his comedy special exclusively on HBO. Starts at the end of the month, Platypus Man.
Right, January 30th on HBO, exclusively.
Are you the Platypus Man?
No. Yeah, well, you know, it was like how I came across the title was I was home watching National Geographic, because I have a full life, so I sit there and I watch it. Dun, 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 watching the Geographic show. On comes the platypus. The platypus is the only animal in the world that's a mammal but lays eggs. He has a tail like a beaver and a bill like a duck, but he's neither one. And I was going, wow, this animal is really messed up in the brain. So I kept watching, turn up the volume. They said the platypus lives alone. It has very short legs. It eats late at night and can't even see its food. And I went, wow, this animal is me. I'm Platypus Man. So the title came from that the platypus was a symbol for anybody that was confused in a comical, short-legged way.
and what sort of things will you get off your chest?
In the show?
Yeah.
Well, the usual suspects, marriage, talk about marriage. And it's basically a lot of things like that, like things where these things in life that have sort of two alternatives and they're both equally kind of irritating, marriage and sex and health, those types of things. A lot of stuff about.
So what would be the downside to health?
The downside to health, okay. Oh, God, I got to watch my P's and Q's here. No, there's no downside to health except I would say that when you die, you're looking really good, and that's got to be additionally annoying.
Right. When you look your best.
If you die healthy. No, what I mean is, like, for example, that the downside to health, there is no downside, but like that the food that tends to taste really good is the food that kills you, Of
course.
The idea that, a Stairmaster, that somebody would take what is probably the most boring activity possible in human existence and make it and create a machine that would simulate it,
For an hour a day.
Yeah. It's like we were going to make, the Rackmaster, but we decided it didn't have the health benefits, So those types of things where we get into the idea of ordering a lobster at a restaurant, where there's always two sides to it. There's one side going, gee, a lobster would taste really good. Then there's another side going, this is the cruelest thing I can ever think of, to the point where you have to have 6 or 7 beers in a lobster place, and then you can just have that Emperor of Rome look of, bring me the brown one, he amuses me. The one there on the left, seize him, have him boiled immediately. That type of thing. And, all those different subjects. Marriage. Now, you're married, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Because I always noticed that you're wearing your wedding ring tonight?
Naturally.
Even on New Year's. What a guy. If you're watching at home, what a guy. Even on a night where he could go nuts with an empty bottle of champagne. He's still got the ring showing. Yeah, so the idea of marriage, that there's always those two sort of choices. Do you want to be single and go out and talk about a bunch of stuff you're not interested in, or do you want to be married, stay home, and talk about a bunch of stuff you've heard before? I used to, it's like a choice,
It's always good to have options.
Yeah, like when the doctor goes, well, what'll it be, ointment or suppositories? That kind of a choice.
These are the best.
I'd like to suggest that maybe your presence really isn't required here anymore.
All right? No, I think whatever you can make of it, I give you the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
We see what you do with the 2 minutes.
All right.
It can be sit down, it can be stand up, and then we decide. Okay?
All right. Okay. Good enough. So, anyway, as I was saying, I have this new special coming out January 30th called Platypus Man. Would you tell us what that's about? I already discussed that with Bob. Well, do you expect it to be a lot of stand-up? Is it a lot of a concept? Well, actually, no. Actually, what it is, excuse me. Actually, what the show is about is just the different conflicts we all go through as human beings. See, I find this much more comfortable not having you here, Bob. This way I can stretch out, I can basically talk to myself. I'd also like to say that Bob Costas would have liked to be here tonight, but unfortunately he had a stomach ailment. He's wasted. And he couldn't make it. So I'm going to be carrying the show myself tonight, carrying on an imaginary conversation with Bob Costas in an attempt to prove that he's not really essential to this program. But if he was here right now, he would only be telling a really boring story about a guy that nobody's ever heard of. Is my 2 minutes up there?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I've been Richard Jeni, interviewing myself.
With your help, we're making a world of difference.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, you know, it's almost too festive,
look
isn't
at
it, my
this.
friends?
This is amazing.
Who needs Ben Grauer?
We have our own New Year's thing going.
Some sort of weird competition here.
Boy, you talk about condoms, it's like they read your mind.
I almost forgot. This will make no sense to those unfortunates among you who did not see Elaine Boozler's special earlier tonight. But for those of you who did, the answer. So, right, there's $30,000 and 4 eggs,
4 eggs
in the case. And the guy says, all right, so why the $30,000? And she says,
well, every time I got a dozen eggs, I sold them.
Happy New Year.
We're not going to kiss or anything.
Don't think it's appropriate. Okay.